Hi guys, today is the 22nd of April 2019 at 6 minutes past 11 in the evening over here in the UK, and I just wanted to do a video very quickly summarizing some of the things that we've gone over in the last 2 years and some of the things that we've highlighted from the iPad Go 2 video. I've taken a series of screenshots of specific sections from different parts of the iPad Go 2 video and put some interpretations for what I believe they may be saying, and I'm just going to quickly run through them with you, although you can easily see exactly what I've done. So with the missile penis that they've got on the chalkboard, it seems to suggest a number of different things. The first thing I've interpreted is the word cult with C-U-L-T, upside down L, upside down T. Obviously that seems to have some reference to this urination. I've talked about that in previous videos. I'm not going to go over that again. Over here, another interpretation could be A3. That if that is talking about a month and a date, that could be April or August the 3rd. It could also be interpreted as D3, with the D just being drawn in a slightly different angle, which would be December 3rd. We've also got another reference, which could be A, the little marker that they have at the head of the rocket penis image being a 1, and the testicles making up the number 3, which could be either A13 or D13 or A31 or D31, which could be April the 13th. April doesn't have a 31, so we're not looking for that in this month, or August or December the 13th or 31st. Obviously, December 31st, New Year's, is a pretty big watch. Going into 2020, there's some suggestions that there may be some events taking place then. The other interpretation is LT3, with the T being upside down, the L being upside down, and the number 3. L is the 12th letter of the alphabet, T the 20th, the number 3, 1223, December 23rd. So there's a couple of dates that can be taken out of just that one image, and I've just interpreted them all for you and for me. I think that's all of them anyway. There may be more. You got the shark down here, which is made up of the pound coin symbol. Talked about that before, and a series of numbers. Now I think it's talking about the number 27. Obviously we've got the 27th coming up in 5 days time, so it could be the 27th of April or the 27th of another month that we need to keep our eyes on. But if it is talking about the 27th of April, there is, a couple of things happening around that time in central London, the marathon being the pretty big one. Recent video looked at the Faraday Memorial, kind of in the centre of London, and I'll get to that as soon as I get to the hangman part of this. But here we have the number 2, which makes up the mouth. Inside the mouth, we have what could be a series of 7s, so that could be a reference to 27, but it's also 8 teeth, so it could be 27th of August. That's another interpretation. But we've got 27, and then what I think is a reference to V, which could be number 5, which is why I've written 27 at 5, because I'm thinking something specific in association with the April interpretation. 1 second. The 27th of April at 5 p.m. would link up with this over here, which is connected to the Transport for London network or the London Transport Network, kind of both the same thing, are public transport, where I've interpreted the T, the F and the L, shifting the hangman words around. You can make up TFL there. You've also got reference to possible LTN. That's also there, London Transport Network. The hangman, as I said before, makes up a broken circuit. This would be the bulb, the motor, the wires, the switches, not connected, so it seems that's something to do with electricity. As it is, if I am going with this interpretation of London Transport Network and Transport for London Network, then the broken switch would maybe have something to do with the tracks in association with the London Transport Network. So maybe something happens to the tracks there. And then the other interpretation I've given here is when you flip it this way, you get the number 10, the letter K, which if you put those together, 10K would be 10,000. And then you look like you've got ID, and then you've got the hangman. So my interpretation for that was 10,000 ID'd dead, and that could be in association with broken tracks or something to do with an attack on the London Transport Network. Just below that, we have George Bush in the beginning of this video when he's doing his hand symbols. You've got 10, 10, and 7, which again equals the 27. So if the hangman is linked to this, which it could be, because if you look at the hangman, you've got XX, which is 10 and 10, 20, and then the tongue could actually be a 7 written sideways in bubble writing. I've pointed that out before, so it could be 27 marked there, 27 marked here, and you've got a broken circuit. And what I realized is when George Bush is doing this hand thing and we're hearing all that tapping noise that we think is Morse code, it could possibly be, but the other thing it could be is a cyber attack, the keyboards tapping away. So I'm just going to play that very quickly. So in the faster version, it obviously sounds, it moves a lot quicker, but it sounds like keyboard typing, and obviously the way he's moving his fingers after he displays 10, 10, and 7 is like a hacker hacking into a network. And it could be that we have something on the 27th, maybe this month, maybe another month, in association with a cyber attack that targets the London Transport Network or the Transport for London network, causing trains to collide into each other, or connections to not switch as they're supposed to, ending up with 10,000 people injured or dead. I really hope that doesn't happen, but again, that's just something that's coming out of this interpretation. Another reference to 27, I think, is down here where we have outside of the classroom, we have the tsunami wave, which is coming forward, which is depicted in like a glacier kind of frozen formation moving forward. In the middle, you can see the shark's eye there, the open mouth, quite clear to see. This suggests that the wave is caused by a submarine, which is what the sharks reference in this particular image. Now, over here with the two towers, we have what we think is the Statue of Liberty and maybe another tower like the Empire State Building or something like that. I say the Empire State Building because of, the Kali goddess thing that they did a while back, suggesting that something was going to take place there. But the way that they've drawn the land here, it seems as if they both kind of go out in an L reference, or possibly, as I've written here, 2 upside down 7s, and 2 7s would be a reference to 27. It's kind of like the Beyonce song 7-Eleven, when she says 7 twice, 7 twice. I see that as 7-2-7-2, which is backwards 27-27. Again, I don't know if it's 27th of this month or another month, but obviously I've written April there because that's the month we're currently in, and a lot of things have been taking place, especially since the Notre Dame Cathedral burned down on April the 15th. I've said before that I think I can see the word April formed in that tsunami wave rock formation that they've done here, and I just see it so clearly. It's just there. It's that APRIL and then 2 upside down 7s. So that's why I've written April the 27th, and that's my interpretation for it. Down here, there's a possible connection to a series of dates, just like the missile, for example, giving us a series of dates. But you've got 27F, which if it is talking about this 27th, for example, in Easter, where we have the rabbit kind of just after Easter, that time period, we've got the eggheads, Easter again, egg roll and all that kind of stuff. Then Friday the 27th is coming up in just 5 days time, as I've said. The other reference you get is the upside down L, the upside down T, and the reference to the 3 leaves inside of that. LT3, again, another reference to December 23rd, just like this one here, L23, December 23rd. And the other possible interpretation is all of this is above the 8th figure here, and you've got the 3 reference in there, which is August 3rd, which again is another interpretation taken from the missile up there. I've also considered that the 1 leaf up here could be August 3-1, which would be August 31st, which again is another reference, but I haven't written it here because I wasn't so confident on that one. But that whole Easter connection reference, the 27th Friday coming up, it looks like that could be a connection, so that's why I've spoken about it. The house itself, I've written April 30th in there, as it could be a squished 0 that we're looking at instead of like a 1 in bubble writing. But either way, April doesn't have a 31st, so if nothing happens on the 27th and nothing happens on the 30th, then it would be a connection to either August 13th, August 30th, or August 31st. On the other side, we have a possible connection to New York with NY just in there. There's the shape of the lobster claw, which is drawn in red, so it could be a reference to Red Lobster. That could be one of the Red Lobster restaurants, or it could just be referring to where Red Lobster gets their lobsters, which I think is mostly from Maine. So that would be a lookout for Maine. Could be an upside down W for Washington, so that's why I've written DC. Or it could be an M for Mar-a-Lago. It's connected to a house, and we have Donald Trump reference in this video. So that's another connection. Obviously, the house itself is shaped like a rocket. The window would act as the nuclear symbol, so some suggestion of a rocket launch on one of those days, April 30th, August the 13th, August the 30th, or August the 31st. There's also the possibility that this over here could be a connection to a 1, and then we could have the number 5 just like that. I haven't written it here because, again, it's not one that I'm so confident on, but if that is the case, it could be an A15, and it could be a reference to the Notre Dame building on fire with the spire collapsing. And obviously we seem to have that reference in the end of the video, or could be the beginning of the video, depending on which way you view it. But there it is. It's another possibility. So I'm just bringing out the interpretations here. I think we're almost at the end. I think there's just one other thing I need to discuss, actually, just before I move on to that. The other clear reference to August is this. Now, to me and to a lot of you, we hear the word August, so there's obviously a clear reference to August. We've got the For Me reference, so there's a clear reference to April. Both of those months begin with A. A lot of A references here. A3, A13, A30, A31. There's not a lot of days to watch out for, but they are spaced quite a few months apart. Well, 4 months apart. The last thing on this chart of stuff I wanted to talk about is the clock tower, which again may have a reference to 27. And again, because I think the clock tower is Big Ben, I think we're looking at the UK 27th. So if I just put all of the things together that we've talked about there in reference to the 27th, maybe this month, maybe another month, we have the George Bush character showing 10, 10, 7, 27. At the same time, he's got that whole clicking, tapping noise, not like my computer, but the clicking, tapping noise in the background, which suggests some sort of cyber attack. And I think that may be linked to the TFL network, where something happens with the trains and we end up with 10,000 people ID dead or something around that number. At the same time, there may be some form of tsunami if the sharks and the tsunami wave we see here and the word April, which I see there, and the 27th, again, is all connected. So it's possible we get both of those things, and they do both seem to reference the UK. We may see the East Coast involved in that as well. But again, just with the clock tower, just to add on to those things, is you can see the little indentation that they really didn't want you to see on the first or second or third time watching it. It's pointed to 2 o'clock, but when you draw in the little hand which would point to 2 o'clock, you also have a reference to an upside down 7, so 2 and 7, and again, that could just reference April 27th or another 27th in another month. The last one is just down here with the Psalm 23 upside down. You have the number 3 and the letter A, where the middle of the A is made up with the tail of the 3. So August 3rd, April 3rd has already passed. Just another reference that we have to that particular date. Aside from that, the only other thing I wanted to kind of just quickly show you guys is we've been through a lot over the last 2 years looking at this video and trying to interpret dates and things like that. I feel more confidently about the Year of the Pig because it's referenced not only in the iPad Go-To video, but as I pointed out to you guys, it's also referenced in the Game of Thrones TV series, which is the most popular TV series ever, I believe. It's claimed that title. So they are clearly using the media to kind of put these messages in there, and I just think the pig reference in both of these types of media is a suggestion that this Year of the Pig is where these things happen. And obviously the Year of the Pig goes up to January 24th, I believe, 2020. You can check it for yourself. I may be slightly wrong on the date that it ends, but it's in January 2020 when the Year of the Pig ends. So sometime between now and then is when I'm expecting these events to unfold. We've revealed a lot of things with the iPad Go-To video. One of the major things that kept me going with this video is the reveal of the chalkboard. I could always see that there was something there with these smudge marks, like something was drawn and then something was rubbed out, but not completely rubbed out, so you get the impression that something was there, and the idea was that you would search for it. And that's what I did, and you kind of end up with things that you really didn't expect to kind of see, you know. Demon heads, at first you think, is that really a purposeful drawing? And then you see it's repeated over here, exact same image, something looking like a statue, or could be like I've seen it as 2 ways. It's either the Statue of Liberty or Shiva. Both of those are referenced in this video, so that's not too much of an impossibility. We've got what I think looks like a Pinocchio mask, looks like a long nose, kind of side face. You know, it's all a bit confusing because it's not accurately and properly drawn in there. It's just kind of suggestions. As I said, I've done my best. There's a man here. Who it is, I don't know. Seems to have some sort of slick, shiny hair, black hair, bald sides. I really don't know. Kind of that description of imagery would remind me of Hitler, for example. Appears to be some sort of gun behind this figure's head, and I've captured it on this frame just as the eyes go blank, where it seems the suggestion is the background is interacting with the foreground, but it's just not that obvious when you're looking at it in this video because it's pretty much hidden. So I have done all I can do, I think, in interpretations with this video. There's not much more I think there is to reveal, really, in terms of events. It's just interpreting dates, and as I've tried in this video, I've just done my best to show you guys all the potential dates that I think this video is showing. Left to come up: April 30th, August 3rd, August 13th, August 30th, August 31st, December 3rd, December 23rd. The hangman, as I've referenced before, even if you do take it as XX7, it could also be XXV or XXIV, which is 24, 25. Significant if it's referring to December in that sense, because that would be Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So I think with all of that said, I'll end the video here. It's probably gone a little bit longer than I wanted it to go, but I think the information contained within is at least interesting enough to warrant some form of watch on these particular days. So you guys, thank you for watching. Have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and may the Heavenly Father bless you.